Welcome to this edition of Community Talk. I'm Mike Fields, and I serve as the District Attorney for Garfield County. Sitting with me this afternoon is Mr. J.D. Overton. J.D. serves as the Victim Witness Coordinator for the DA's office. We'll get into his duties and responsibilities in just a moment. But we're here today to talk to everyone about one of the highlights of our year, J.D., National Crime Victims' Rights Week. Why is National Crime Victims' Rights Week so important to us in the DA's office?
Well, it's very important, Mike, because, victims are why we're in business. And we try to provide the best victim services that we can. This year, National Crime Victims' Rights Week is April the 9th through the 15th. And we're having our program, or our vigil for crime victims, at the YWCA a week from next Tuesday, or April the 10th at 6 o'clock.
Okay. Let's start with just kind of a big picture, J.D. Why are crime victims on a national level, why are crime victims' rights, why is that so important?
Okay. Well, for many years, Mike, victims were kind of the afterthought, and now we're putting them at the forefront of our thinking. We want to make, our goal is to make every victim whole. That's sometimes not a very realistic goal, because even if we get their monetary stuff back to them, that doesn't mean they're healed emotionally or mentally. But there's been a big focus on victims, Mike, and your office, thank goodness, we try to do the very best that we can for victims, and we provide many services. We provide services like when someone is charged with a crime, I write letters to the victims, explaining them the charge, sending them a restitution recovery form so we can try to recover restitution for them. We send disposition letters out after the case has been disposed of. The other things we do is we provide witness fees for when we have to have victims or witnesses come up to testify. We have a crime victims compensation program, which is a wonderful program that provides medical expenses. It can provide lost income for victims who have been injured and had to go to the hospital, or worse, if someone is shot and killed. This program, it's a last payer. It's after insurance and after certain other benefits, but it will pay up to $40,000 per victim for stuff like lost income, medical expenses, that kind of stuff. And we've been doing that for a lot of years. Your district has averaged about $300,000 a year in providing that to victims.
Where does that money come from, J.D.? Is that taxpayer money?
It is not. That's a good thing about it. If you, back in the old days, it used to be in the newspaper, it would call VCF, or when a criminal, or when someone pleads to either a misdemeanor or a felony, then they're assessed a pot of money, or are assessed, they have to pay some money, and it goes into this crime victims compensation fund. So it's no tax money in it. Very, very good program. And what our listeners need to remember today is they don't need to know all the ins and outs of the program. If they just remember to call J.D. at the DA's office, I can certainly explain it to them if they think they meet, or I can let them know if they meet the qualifications for
We can sure help them out, can't we?
You bet.
Okay, J.D., what are some of the more prominent rights that victims have in Oklahoma?
Okay. They have rights, Mike, that a criminal defendant should be tried in as quickly as we can get it done. Now, sometimes that takes a lot longer than we would like for it to, but we try to get that done in a reasonable and timely manner. They are afforded the right to get their property back as quickly as we can get it back to them. They ought to feel free of intimidation from a defendant or defendant's family, and we can certainly provide a means if someone is being harassed as a witness or a victim. We have means to take care of that, or try to get that taken care of. The other thing that our office does too that takes up a lot of my time is protective orders. I'm the point of contact in the district attorney's office or in the courthouse for protective orders in this county. And we take a lot of pride in getting our victims, helping them with the paperwork, getting them in front of a judge. Usually within 30 minutes or an hour, we can get them in front of a judge. And then our sheriff's office works very hard and get protective orders served. We even appear, of course, we don't represent the victims in a protective order case, but we have a representative down there, usually me, to see what's going on with those proceedings. And there's just, there is a lot of things, Mike, that we do. We provide witness fees for when someone testifies. We administer that program also.
How about the right to be heard at sentencing, what we typically call victim impact statements? Talk a little bit about that right, JD.
You bet. A victim has the opportunity at a sentencing phase of a procedure to get up and say how it's affected their life, and it can be very compelling. It can be very influential to the judge to find out, you or the lawyers are giving them the technical, the law, and what they've done and this, that, and the other. But a judge can be very moved by a victim expressing what their victimization has done to them or done for them or members of their family.
And you're right. We've seen that time and time again where that is just so compelling, and it just helps put a human face and a human story behind reports that we read or charges that are filed.
That's correct.
Okay, JD, you mentioned something else that I want to go back and talk about. Our office deals or spends a lot of time and resources helping victims. I get the sense so many times that there are so many victims out there that still haven't come forward or that just for whatever reason feel like the system hasn't or isn't responsive to them. Is that your perception also, JD?
It is. Statistics tell us, Mike, that there's many more crimes committed than they're reported, especially in sexual assault cases, especially in domestic violence situations. That's one of the things the vigil does. It gives an opportunity for victims of various crimes who maybe haven't gone to the police, or maybe they're trying to decide whether to go to the police. They can come to our vigil. There'll be service providers there from the local community. There'll be other victims there. We'll have a speaker that will get up and talk about her victimization. We even have an open speak out to where anyone can get up and say whatever they want to about their victimization. And it always surprises me every year, that there's most of the time there's one I've never heard of. And then after she speaks, maybe I can go talk to her later and talk to her about the situation.
And isn't that really one of the main goals of National Crime Victims' Rights Week? One of the main goals of our vigil is to try and raise the level of awareness so folks that are out there know that their voice is important, that there are people out there that are ready and willing to help, but they just need to hold their hand up to let us know.
That's exactly right, Mike. And also they have a catchy title every year, a different one every year for the program, and this year it's Expand the Circle, Reach All Victims. And again, that's our goal, is to reach the victims that are out there and offer what assistance we can.
Mm-hmm. Because so many times I feel like we're scratching the surface of the folks that are out there that could benefit from some of the resources that we may be able to point them in the direction of, or even possibly result in a criminal charge and the person who's victimized them being held accountable in some sort of meaningful way.
And one of the most important parts of my job, Mike, is someone can call up. They don't even have to have a case. They don't have to report it to the police or anything else, but they'll ask. I can't give them legal advice, but I can certainly refer them to social services. I can refer them to counselors. I can refer them to the police department, wherever I think that they need to go.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, let's talk specifically about our vigil here in a couple of Tuesdays, April the 10th, is that right?
April the 10th at 6 o'clock at YWCA, not the YMCA, but the YWCA. It's on the corner of Quincy and Garrett. There's plenty of parking there. I've mentioned this every year, Mike. I'm an old military guy. I like to start at 6 o'clock. Mm-hmm. We're going to start at 6 o'clock. And you're not going to be there long. It never runs more than an hour. Usually it's between 30 and 45 minutes. We start out with the presentation of the colors. The Enid Police Department posts the colors for us. We got a wonderful young lady by the name of Chloe Beth Campbell. I think she's in high school still here, but she's just a wonderful singer. She sang last year. She'll do the pledge, or not the Pledge of Allegiance, but she will do a patriotic song, and then she will sing at least another song after that. So, and then I'm going to let you talk about our special speaker this year, Tanya Byers.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have Tanya come and speak as our keynote this year. Actually, the way that I met Tanya was interesting. I was speaking at a statewide crime victims observant in Oklahoma City. And Tanya spoke right before me. And Tanya is the survivor of child sex abuse. She is a published poet, and she read one of her poems right before I was to speak. And I was deeply moved by the poem that she read, and was on the verge of tears and thinking, I've got to pull myself together and get up and speak. And so as soon as the event was over, I went up and spoke to her, and I said, I just was so impressed. That story is so compelling. I asked her if she would be willing to come up to Enid and to speak at this event, and she's agreed to do so. So just has a great story of the victimization, of going beyond that and moving past that and becoming a survivor and a thriver, in spite of just the awful hand that she was dealt. So I think it'll be a story that lots of people will not only be able to draw hope and inspiration from, but one that will certainly go toward our goal of help raising the level of awareness of crime victims' rights in our community.
Yeah. There will be a few other speakers there. The mayor is going to read a proclamation for Crime Victims' Rights Week. Carol Wade each year speaks about child advocacy and the child abuse that we suffer in this county. And you will speak. And again, it's Tuesday, April 10th at the YWCA. There'll be plenty of seating. Get there at 6 o'clock. We won't keep you very long, but we invite everybody in the community. Service providers also. There'll be a lot of service providers there that like DHS, like people from the hospitals, like Enid Police, or like various police departments. So there'll be a good crowd there.
Yeah, we certainly want to invite everyone to come out and to help us recognize National Crime Victims' Rights Week, help us raise the level of awareness and expand that circle to include all victims of crime. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tricia Mitchell, Executive Director with the For Our Kids Foundation, whose mission is to provide support to children and adults with disabilities. Please look for us on Community Talk.
Hello, I'm Brenda with the Blue Star Mothers, President of Chapter 11, Enid, Oklahoma. And I have with me today Miss Karen Volman, and she's our recording secretary, and she does everything that has to be written, so she deserves a lot of praise.
Well, you do too, Missy, because you do a lot too.
Well, it takes us all.
It takes us all to get it done,
That's right. So we're going to visit with you a little bit about our meetings. They're on the second Thursday of every month at 6:30. And then we pack our care packages when?
Fourth Thursday of every month at 6:30
Right.
at the Oakwood Mall at our store.
Yes. And we also celebrate our Blue Star Mothers and our associate birthdays on that fourth Thursday. So if you come and help us pack boxes, you get to have cake with us. And it's usually always, I should say usually, most likely it's going to be homemade cake. So, because us moms like to cook, can you tell?
We have our meetings, and when we do our packing meetings, this last time we did 54 care packages, but we kind of had where there might be 500 more deploying, so we'll probably have a lot more names coming in here pretty soon.
Yes.
I think they're supposed to deploy in May.
Yes, ma'am. They are. I haven't got the names yet. I just got the word that they're deploying, and it is 500 troops. I should say Air National Guard is what I think it is. But, and we won't take all of the names. They will split them up between all of the Blue Star Mothers in Oklahoma that are still active and sending care packages. But we're one of the few that continue to send care packages every month. So some only do it every 3 months and, stuff like that. But
Well, we've been able to do this since January of 2006, once a month, every month, and thank goodness all the help we get from Northwest Oklahoma and around, we couldn't do it without our community.
Exactly. And so, when we're constantly out having a fundraiser or trying to raise money somehow, That's why, because we really continue to send the care packages and take care of our troops. And as you have your son and daughter deployed, that's a really tough time, isn't it, Karen?
Oh, it is. It is.
Yeah.
My daughter deployed first during Desert Storm, but she was in Germany. She was an OR tech, and then of course my son did 2 tours in Iraq, 1 in Afghanistan. And every mother has a story. Now that he's out, there's other children, mother's children's, family's children that's over there. And when they're over there, they need a little something from home.
That's right. And Karen and I both, our sons are medically out of the service. But we still help and we still try to support our troops, because once your son or daughter deploys and you become a part of that, you want to share with someone else's son or daughter that may not be getting a care package, because that's a tough time in their life. And can you imagine just being over there for a full year with hardly anything?
Doug did a 15-month tour too. One time he
Yes.
missed 2 Thanksgivings and 2 Christmases. And that Green Beret that we had a name that he got killed in Niger, he was on his 8th deployment.
That's right.
There's so many of them that deploy and deploy and deploy.
And when they say goodbye to their families, their children, and they know that they're going to be gone for a long time, and when they get back, sometimes their children don't know them. But we're very thankful for what they do. So
Yes.
very thankful. And my son served 15-month tour, the last one too, but it was a long, hard road, I think. It was for me, and I know it was for them.
And you get to, well, like me, he went to Korea first. So actually he did 4 tours if you want to count Korea.
Right, right.
But that first tour,
It's
and you
the
have
worst.
that we just had this mother that her son went on his first tour, and she joined, and everything, and it's hard. I'm not
is.
saying all of them aren't hard, but that first tour, your
Yeah.
heart just, just don't know what to do sometimes.
Yes, you
I always
you
tell
get
them, take my phone number, call me day or night, I will answer,
That's right.
because sometimes they just need to talk.
And I'm still like that. My phone's right beside me at all times because of that. But
But we have
May-
some fundraisers coming up.
yes, we do. So the next one is Winoka Snake Hunt, Rattlesnake Hunt, April the 6th, 7th, and 8th. And so we'll be at Winoka selling goodies and
We do the 50-50
yes,
there too.
yes. And that's one of our big fundraisers at the snake hunts is the 50-50, because you're competing against a lot of people. But we'll be out there. Hopefully it won't be as cold as it was last year, and hopefully it won't be a tornado like it was one year.
We have went through a lot with the weather.
And
It's all worth it though, because I know when you're out in the hot sun,
Yeah.
our children are over there in a lot hotter weather than what we have to do.
I know
so.
we gripe a lot, but then we think about our military people being over there with that 100-pound or 150-pound backpack on.
Yeah.
And we're griping because we're dripping sweat.
At least we've got water.
Yes. But anyway, if you're out and about and you're out by Winoka, come by and see us. We'll be there. And then right after that, the 27th, 28th, and 29th, and 30th, I believe, is the O'Keene Rattlesnake Hunt. And we'll be there also, basically doing the same thing.
Plus the home show that weekend.
Yes, we have the
So
home
we're
show
kinda-
also.
Some one place and some another.
Yeah, so some of our moms get to stay in air conditioning, and the others get to go hang out with the windy Oklahoma heat and all that other stuff. But we'll do it.
Yeah, because you and Betty have to do the 50-50.
Yeah, I know, darn.
They always do the 50-50.
Yes, because we're gutsy and we go tell people that they need to buy a ticket.
Betty will come back and say, I think Brenda's done more than me. I've got to get out there and try some more. So like a little competition thing, you know?
Yes, I get really tickled at Betty, but she works hard. She works
really
just
does.
as hard as I do.
Well,
And
you know, and our home show's the patriotic home show
That's
this year,
right.
so it's going to be red, white, and blue.
That's right.
So come by and see me because I'll be there all 3 days.
Yes, and you've got pins to give away, and you've got stars to give to
And
the
we have
veterans.
our pins, you know, that they're different
Our
ones.
patriotic pins,
Yeah.
yes. So, and if you haven't signed up your son or daughter that's deployed, she'll have the paperwork there that you can sign up your son or daughter or your cousin or whoever.
Whoever you've got an address for that needs a care package.
That's right.
Until they
because
come home.
It doesn't matter to us. As long as they're over there and they're fighting for our freedom, we will send them a care package and we will take care of them. So, and then what else do we have?
Well, in May, of course, May is always going to be busy. We'll have
yes.
another segment here before that. And of course, we do want to thank Enid Television
Oh, yes.
Network.
Oh, yes.
We like to get our word out through here. They're so kind to us. But May is always busy with the Red Dirt Run and the
Right.
Wall of Honor, Memorial Day, and all that. And it takes a lot to get everything ready for that.
It does. We start having meetings tomorrow for that. One more thing that we're doing is we're selling raffles on a gun. Now, what kind of gun? I can't tell you
It's a
because
20 gauge shotgun.
20 gauge shotgun.
Yeah.
Because I didn't bring my paperwork, but it's $5 a ticket or $6
For
for
25.
25. And we are going to draw the ticket Memorial Day and give it away that weekend. You do have to have a background check
Yeah, I think Richard
if you
Cox
win
is
that.
taking care of that.
But we will have to
Whoever
have
wins
that.
it,
So if anyone buys a ticket and they're not eligible, then we can't let the rifle go. But we would like for you to join us in this and help us to raise some more money for our troops. Our care packages are normally, what,
$65, I think.
And I think that just went up. But we pay for all of the postage. We give we try to get most of our stuff donated, having fundraisers like at
Right.
Walmart, and that will be coming up soon too. So anyway, just know that we do this for our troops and we want to continue, so we need y'all's support. And like Karen said, we would like to thank Enid Television for sure, and anyone else in Northwest Oklahoma.
And our veterans groups are good to us, too.
Oh, yes.
They really are.
We're with the VVA 940.
Yeah, the VFW,
And,
American Legion.
Yes.
The Stars for Our Troops that we do, the little stars. The American Legion has donated a lot of flags for us to do that, you know, the retired flags.
And then we do a pocket flag for our troops. Everyone gets that's overseas that we send a care package to.
They get
gets
a flag and the star in their first box when we get that first address. Yeah.
Right. So, and those little flags are hard to fold, let me tell you. So, you know, we do it, and we want to make sure that every troop has one, and it kind of helps them to realize.
And the veterans, too.
Right. And for them to have that and to be able to hold that when they're down at times, you know, because our veterans and our military respect our flag, as we all should.
Right.
So-
Right.
And I'd like to thank all of our Blue Star mothers who help us. We do a lot of baking, and that's all out of our pocket.
And we need to know that, you know, we have, over 7,000 Blue Star mothers across our nation.
Right.
And they all need a thank you because
That's
they
right.
all do really good work.
That's
They really
right.
do.
And we also would like to have in mind that this next month, well, this is March, but April's almost here.
Yeah.
So May is a tough time for our Gold Star families. And, you know, if nothing else, say a quick prayer for them because, you know, that brings back every memory, every hard thing you had to go through. And when you walk away from your child, that Gold Star mother never gets over that.
No.
So,
Our national president is a Gold Star mother.
yes, she is. And then her
She's
son, her second son, got hit by a car, and he's disabled, 100% disabled. A woman, they believe it was a woman that hit him, but they never could catch her. But he was on his motorcycle, and he's paralyzed from the waist down. So she's had a long road to hoe, but you know what? She still goes.
She
She
does.
still supports our troops just as we do. So thank you all for all that you do for any of our veterans. And thank you for listening to us and supporting us wherever we are. But we are still at Oakwood Mall. The flags are out in front of our room. So if you have a chance, stop by and say hi.
On Thursdays and Fridays from 10 to 5.
Right. So I hope y'all have a wonderful, blessed Easter. And we'll be seeing you next time.
God bless America.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Matt Lohman, CEO of Hope Outreach Ministries, where our mission statement is sharing the love of Jesus Christ to the felt needs of our community for the purpose of empowering people towards responsible living. Where we have our parenting ministry, our homeless ministry, our community care ministry, our transitional housing ministry, and our thrift store ministry, which helps everyone in our community who is in need. Please look for us on Community Talk. We're looking forward to telling you more about each of those ministries.
Hi, welcome back to Community Talk. I'm Steve Barnes. I'm General Manager of the Chisholm Trail Expo Center here in Enid. And today we're here to talk about the Corvette show that's coming to Enid. And today I'm joined by Mr. Ron Manning. Ron, glad to have you here with us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely. And Ron's going to be here for the first time, and we're going to see if we can maybe ask him a couple questions that he really doesn't know the answer to. So we'll see what we can do for him. This is the 26th annual Corvette show, right?
It is. April the 7th, 2018. Admission for adults is $5, children $1. It's open from 9 to 4. It's open basically that day, the night before we bring all the Corvettes in, shine them up, get them ready, and we're ready for everybody to come in the next day. How would you like to walk into some place and see 100 Corvettes sitting there on the showroom floor? What an exhilarating experience.
I always tell everybody that this is one of my favorite events because you get to go in and you walk upstairs and you look around and you'll see all these Corvettes. And some years you've even had more than 100, and they're all different colors. They've got their doors open and the hoods open, and it's just a great sight to see that many cars there.
It really is. It's the largest indoor Corvette show in Oklahoma. We divided into 11 classes of Corvettes. So you've got convertibles, you've got Stingrays, you've got coupes, everything that you can imagine in a Corvette.
And one of the great things that you do every year is you make a special appearance by all of the cars that end in whatever year it is. So this is 2018. So you're going to have cars 2018, 2008, 98, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, we start out in 1958, coming up every 10 years until we've got all those slots filled in.
And what was the first year that the Corvette was made?
Corvette was made in 1955. They actually started the idea of a Corvette in 1953. One of the founders went and he drove a vehicle that he loved very much, and he fell in love with it, and he said, I think I can make a car. So in 1955, they come out with the first Corvette. All of them are white, all the interiors are red, and they made a whole 300 of them. It was a 6-cylinder car with 3 carburetors and a 2-speed automatic transmission.
And you know, what year was that, 53?
No, 55. 55 is when they made it.
55. That's about when Mike Hoffman graduated high school, I think, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Mike Hoffman does a great job. He photographs all of the cars as they come in, and he just does a great job, and he's a great guy, too. But everybody in the club's a great guy. It's kind of like they've been coming to the Expo Center for so many years. We know everybody by their first name, and we look forward to y'all coming in. You're a great club. You're a great set of men and women. Everybody's spouses come along. We really enjoy y'all coming in.
Corvettes of Enid was actually founded in 1992, and the reason it was founded is a group of people getting together that are interested in America's only true sports car. You don't have to own one to be in the club. You just have to be interested in going. We have meetings on the first Thursday of every month. Some of the activities we do, dine around, car shows, parades, civic activities, including charitable donations. We raise about $50,000 through the Corvette Expo, and almost every dime of that is spent back out in the community. We looking for the places we send it to. Hang on.
Let me help you out a little bit. Child advocacy.
I can't find it
You
here.
send it to them.
We do.
You do. And the AmBucks and their Amtrikes, which is a great deal. I mean, that's a great organization to give it to. Back to Youth. You just got a lot of great community organizations that you give money to.
They do. They spend a lot of money, and each time we have a meeting, somebody may come up with another group that said, we'd like to have some help, and if we've got the money available, we usually try to donate some money to get that particular event going.
And you talked a little bit earlier about having some black leather jackets for sale, is that right?
Well, they're actually not for sale. We've got 4 leather jackets with a little Corvette symbol on the side, and anybody that has a Corvette that enters in the expo that is not a part of the COE is eligible for a drawing, and we'll draw for 4 different jackets.
Hey, tell me a little bit about the club. How many members do you have in the club? Do you know?
Well, I think the current club has almost 200 individuals, although I've never saw 200 people at a meeting. But sometimes we go to events and I see people I've not seen before. So we have people that belong to the Corvettes of Enid, and they moved away and they never gave up their membership. They send their membership dues in, et cetera, depending on what we're doing. Some of the things that they have done as a club, they've gone to the Biltmore Estate in North Carolina, the Mount Rushmore area, the Yellowstone National Park, the Glacier National Park. They've gone into Canada, toured the national parks in Utah, the Grand Canyon, the tour of Michigan, including Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island. Just some of the things they've gone together. And when they do these trips, it just seems like everybody bonds so much. The average age in the club is probably a little more than 35 or 40. And we continually get emails saying so-and-so had this kind of problem or whatever, and you see the group get together and respond, send prayers, hug, kiss, love each other, whatever. It's a great group of people.
It really is. And one of the main things about having events like the Corvette Show in town are the number of out-of-towners that come in. It provides such an economic impact. You want to talk about that for a little bit?
I'm trying to remember how many cars we had last year in the expo that were not from here. A lot of those people come as far as from Arizona and so on and so forth. And of course, here comes their family. They're going to bring it in Friday night. They're going to stay in a hotel. They're going to eat. They're going to be out there all day Saturday, and spending money in the community. So it brings an economic impact to Enid, Oklahoma.
And that's one of the great things about organizations like this is bringing the people in, bringing people from out of town in. Enid's a great visit, or a great place to visit. And whenever we have great events like this, it just speaks volumes about Enid and the people that live here and the different types of events that we can hold. We go everything from wrestling tournaments to rodeos to Corvette shows. So it just kind of shows everything that we can do here in town.
Everything done in the expo is done by club members. Usually 2 people are volunteered to be in charge of it. I watched that from the background a little bit. Thank you. I am not part of that. That is an extremely difficult job, but you've got people doing the parking. You've got people cleaning it up. There's a supper the night before, and actually my wife is in charge of the supper this year. We have prizes that people can, it's a silent auction, so somebody has to get in charge of bringing all the silent auction things in, et cetera. Somebody was in charge of bringing the jackets or making the jackets. Actually,
Right.
That's made by Eskimo Joe's, good little jackets. It's just a great activity to get a lot of people together and share it with the community.
You were telling me earlier about your daughter's and when she got her first Corvette. Tell us about your first Corvette.
Well, that's kind of a deal. It was a little bit of an accident. She was an OSU person, and so her first car was an orange Camaro. And as the Camaro got a little older, the fact that it was fairly quick also meant that every time we fixed it was about $600 or $700. So she took it down and traded for an 02 black Corvette convertible. She drove it for a few years. Economically available for her, she traded for a 2014, or actually she didn't trade. She said, "Dad, do you want to buy my Corvette?" And I said, "Well, I guess, I don't know. What do you want for it?" So I bought a 2002 black convertible. Love the car. It's fast enough to get a speeding ticket, but slow enough to not get you in trouble. And of course, being black, we spend a lot of time shining that little rascal.
Absolutely. When you live in this part of the country, everything collects dust, and the black seems to really show it up the worst. Another story I'd like to tell is, luckily, you guys are coming in before the monster truck show. this year. It used to come in after the monster trucks, and it takes about 2 weeks for all the dust to settle out of the air. And I remember one year, everybody brought their cars in on Friday night and had them all ready to go for the show on Saturday morning. And they came in, there was just a real light film of dust on it that was still settling out after the monster trucks. So I'm glad that you're before the monster trucks this year.
Yeah, me too.
Tell me, what's your favorite part about owning a Corvette?
Well, I'm not sure. You know, honestly, I didn't think my wife would really enjoy a Corvette. And numerous times, if I bring it home, I don't store it at home. I store it in a commercial shop that I own. But I get it all cleaned up and stuff. She said, I think I'm going to drive it to the grocery store. So that's always a good thing because you can't buy too many groceries unless she puts them in the trunk.
Right. And just like every line of automobile, I know the Corvettes have come out with a lot of new options. Tell me about some of your favorite new options that the Corvettes have.
Oh gosh, when you buy a Corvette, you can buy all kinds of different motors, you can buy different trims, you can buy different ride packages, etc. So if you're going to buy a Corvette, you need to do your homework before you do it so you know what you're getting.
And you can almost buy any option you want on a Corvette. And tell us one more thing about the show itself. I know it's broken down into different classes. Do you know what those different classes, what some of them are?
Oh, some of them, yeah, because my daughter and I are doing one class. Some of those one of them was a modified, and there's two different versions of modified that we're doing, which I'm kind of glad because there's fewer cars in there. The toughest class to judge is the class where you've got 14 2018s. They're all basically the same car. They look exactly alike, so you're trying to decide what elements you're going to look at to decide who gets the trophy and who does not.
Right. And I know a lot of the cars that come in, you set them up on blocks, and they put mirrors underneath them, and they'll take the tires off. It's just really amazing to see all of the work that goes in to making these show cars really as special as what they really are.
Yeah, last year my wife and I, our car was pretty close to a couple out of Wichita, I can't remember. And my wife is really social, and so she was talking to the lady, etc. And I was sitting there just going, oh my goodness, all the things they do to make sure that they can get their car being the way they want it to be the time the show event happens.
Absolutely. Everybody, there's so much work that goes into this. I'd encourage everybody to go out and spend their $5 to get in. It all goes to a great cause. It's a great organization that's here in town. And I might also remind everybody that the 2 weeks after the Corvette show's April the 7th. And then April the 14th is the Monster Truck Show. And then 2 weeks after that is the Home Builder Show. So April's a full month for all of us at the Expo Center. And April starts off with a great show with the Corvettes. And we're really looking forward to having you guys come in.
Always fun if you happen to be out there Friday night when watching all the Corvettes come in. It's kind of cool because here they come and here they come and here they stop, and then you see them drive in, and it's kind of like a little circus. All of a sudden they're out there just cleaning and shining and so on and so forth, preparing them for the next day so they'll be at the top notch in which they can be.
Absolutely. I'd like to remind everybody that the 26th annual Corvettes of Enid car show is at the Chisholm Trail Expo Center in the Coliseum. That'll be April the 7th. And the hours again, I believe it's 9 to 4
o'clock.
9 to 4 o'clock. Come out, cost you $5 to get in, be the best $5 that you spend all year. Come out, it's a great show, it's a great event, it goes to a great cause, and it's a great people that are there. And I might even add that there's a great car or two.
There is a great car too.
All right, I hope to see you all again very soon. See you at the expo.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Rich Shepard. I'm the president of the Enid Civitan Club. Here locally, we give well over $10,000 a year to a lot of community events. If you'd like to be a member, please contact us. Go to civitan.org and be watching on Community Talk.